Hello, genealogists. It's Craig from Just Genealogy. Today I thought I'd do something different because I like to do things different. And I thought I'd tell you a story. So let me lay the groundwork for this story with a picture. So what you see here is a ruin. It's special to me. My great-grandmother on my father's side, his name was Grace Bell Nylans, and she descended from Daniel Nylans and Sarah Allen. Daniel Nylans was from County Tyrone. Sarah Allen was from County Sligo. And they came to this country, I don't remember. It was in the 1840s. They're famine immigrants. And the story is the whole family came over here. There was a shipwreck on the Lake Michigan. All that was saved was a diary and a chicken. Anyway, they ended up in Walworth County, Wisconsin. And I knew a good bit about them. I visited Walworth many times. I've actually never met a Nylans in my life that I remember, although I may have met one as a child. My grandmother died in 1930 of pneumonia when my father was 3. That said, I knew a lot about the family because my father told me about their Civil War escapades in the 13th Wisconsin. Of course, my father didn't bother to tell me that my great-grandfather was in the 13th Wisconsin, but he did tell me about my collateral Nylanses. You may remember a while back I talked about a postmaster in Walworth County by the name of Nylans. Well, it's this family. So at some point, James Nylans, probably my great-uncle or great-great-uncle, had to return to Ireland to settle an estate. And because he did that, he got a passport. And because he got a passport, I knew exactly where he was going. And since I knew exactly where he was going, based on his passport application, not because his passport application said where he was going, but his passport application told me where he was born. And he was born in Creduff, County Tyrone. So I had a place. And when I looked on the map for the place of that name, there was a road of that name. So I thought, here's my chance. All I need now is an opportunity to go to Ireland. I think it took 30 years for me to get to Ireland. The Association of Professional Genealogists had a booth at a Who Do You Think You Are conference in London one year. And we went to Ireland for a week. And we visited my wife's family. It's another wife, different wife. And we visited my family ruins. She actually got to visit with cousins. I got to visit a ruin. So I arrived in Killian, which is the town at the crossroads of Creduff Road and some other road. And right there was a post office. And I thought for sure that I could go in there and talk to the postmaster, and he could tell me where there were some Nylanses. Well, as it turns out, he told me where they were. He said when he was a boy, in the 1930s, he attended the funeral of George Nylans, who was the last Nylans who lived in this area. So I said, well, where'd he live? He said, well, you just go up that road, right there, up to the top of the hill, and at the crossroads you'll see it. And I said, well, are you sure? And he said, I am very sure. So, as a kid, he went to the funeral of George Nylans, and George Nylans lived in this house. Now, if you're familiar with most Irish houses, they're not 2 stories, they're not slate roofs. My family must have had some scratch, some money. The land is currently owned by the Kyles, and there is some thought that Robert Nylans' mother was a Kyle. When I look in the graveyard of the church, which is on the other down the road, the other direction, and about a mile south, there are no Nylanses in the graveyard that I could find, but there are lots of Kyles. So this is the house that my Nylands family grew up in County Tyrone. And it's a special picture to me. And I'm sure that you'll find that pictures are special. I brought back a rock. I'm sure I'll get in trouble someday for saying I brought back a rock. But it wasn't a living, animate object, so agriculturally it was not a problem. It was not a piece of ivy, which grew on the tree, as you can see to the left. It was not a plant. It was a rock. And that rock sits in my mother's house, in her foyer, with a picture of this house. My mother isn't the Nylands, my father is. But my mother wanted the rock. She used to travel the country, and as we traveled the country as a family, with our station wagon, in every state, she required us to stop, and she put a big rock in the station wagon. Because she had a rock garden, and she wanted to have a rock garden that had every state represented. She's probably the only one that knew which state which rock came from, but that was important to her. I think she still has pieces of those rocks. Well, welcome to Creduff. Welcome to Creduff Road. Welcome to the Nylands house. 2 stories. Slate roof. I wonder how much the Kyles would sell it to me for. Anyway, this has been Craig with Just Genealogy, sharing something special. Y'all have a good day.